we don't have a lot of updates, right?
I want to say right up top, I did not do my homework this week. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah. I got like a little bit written, but it's not as much as I was hoping, and it's not as much as I would like, but that's just the way it goes sometimes.
It's like that sometimes.
Yeah.
We all have other projects happening right now that are like, deadlines are coming up on. So
yeah.
Understandable.
Well, I guess we should, actually introduce the podcast before we just roll into it, I guess.
Oh yeah, I guess we should do the podcast stuff.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Behind the Locked Doors, a mildly excuse for us to just talk to each other. Got housed under the guise of it being a podcast that we release to the world. I
mean, it does oftentimes actually do the thing it's supposed to do, which is galvanize us to do our project.
Absolutely did that for me. Yeah,
it's 100% successful. It's just
for me this time it didn't, but
I almost think that we could have just I think we could have almost just scheduled a conference call and not made it a project, but that's fine. This makes us accountable, right? Anyway, I am Scott Paladin. I am writing a werewolf audio drama called It Takes a Wolf.
I'm Sam. I'm doing As in West. Well, that's what I'm talking about usually during this show.
Yeah, same. I'm Jack, and ostensibly I'm working on As in West. Didn't make a lot of headway this time, but that's what we're working on.
Yeah, as depending on how much of the pre-roll that editor Scott leaves in, you guys may have already heard, but not none of us made a ton of progress this time. It's just that.
Yeah, not on these projects. We're all working on other projects also, which is the
I don't remember.
That's the real thing.
I don't remember the list of things that everything on my list last week, but I think I got most everything done. I just didn't do anything on As in West.
Yeah, but you've edited basically all of Gospel of Judah, which is
I finished
an enormous amount.
I finished editing Gospel of Judah. I'm just doing levels now, and I'm having a lot of trouble with individual people's recordings. More than half of the time that I've spent on Judah has been fixing individual recordings. It might have been faster.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It might have been faster to have some of these actors re-record some of the lines, but they would be doing it in the same setup that they recorded the first time. So I thought maybe I should just fix it.
Sam, have you ever experimented with the Adobe AI Enhance?
A little. I feel like now is not the time to learn a new tool. I will eventually, but I do pretty good with the stuff that I have, and I am going to probably get more into that eventually.
Sure. I was just going to offer, if you've already done all the the timing cuts for that stuff, if you're having problem, if you export just a single track, I can run it through the enhance tool, and then you can what I've done when I've used it in the last couple of times is, rather than using the AI enhance tool, I put it under the regular track, and then I cut out anything that needs to be that's problematic on the regular track. So it's you're not using the full AI enhance track, which is not perfect by itself, but it allows you to sort of dip into it when you need it for certain things.
That's
I had an actor who their entire recording was just I could hear the mic the entire time of them banging on it.
Yep, we got one
of
those.
And I was just I could go through and cut every single one of these out, but just to save myself the time, I ran it through the AI enhance tool, and then I was using the bottom half of the I'd used a cutoff filter to get everything below 400 hertz from the AI cleaned up one, and then everything above it was the regular one, and that saved. I literally was the difference between an entire day of work or 10 minutes of work.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So if you wanted to do that, you could send me the file and I could send it back and you could play with it. It might save you some time.
Yeah, I might send you one maybe.
Sure.
What I'm doing now is mostly just making it sound like everybody's in the same room. That's really hard.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry about the various technical troubles.
It's okay. And I'm also not a professional editor. I just know how to edit. So if it's not perfect, I'm not going to stress too hard over it. So.
Yeah, no.
There's also the thing of especially with audio editing, once you have trained your ear as an audio editor to pick stuff up, you are now the one within the top 0.1% of the world in terms of how good the audio has to be. And so the standard that you hold yourself to is so much higher than the average user.
No, I totally get that.
That's true.
Yeah. My one goal for the episode was every voice and every sound effect needed to sound like it was in the world. And so
Mhm.
I hate it when like you have a really good scene going and then somebody throws in like a gunshot or a punch
Yeah.
or something very simple, but they haven't like tailored it to the space. And
To the
so it just
space.
sort
No, I
of
know what you're
like
talking about
it's
exactly.
this it's this gunshot that's just sort of in the ether. That doesn't sound like it's actually happening there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just a matter of tweaking and
Yep.
getting things
Yep.
to work in there. And then sometimes it's like the way that the sound effects just are recorded sometimes is just like you it really is a matter of like it's baked into the waveform at this point, and sometimes you just can't make
Oh
that
my
sound
gosh.
work. And so it just is a matter of going back to the like drawing board and getting a different thing that had been recorded slightly
Yes.
different. Like
Foley.
and that takes its own yeah.
Of course, I can't get like, well, I technically I could, but I can't get the Foley of a gunshot. So
gunshots are interesting because every time I've done them, it's one of those reality is unrealistic moments where like the actual sound of a gunshot accurately recorded doesn't sound like people think it should sound because they've been trained by movies. It's not meaty enough. It's not big enough. And then also because we're squashing the dynamic range of volume, like it just can't be loud enough for like as loud as it really should be.
Yeah,
so you have
100%.
You have to do shouldn't be.
Yeah,
in fact,
should
that
not.
loud.
It just can't be. There's
podcast.
like it literally cannot be for a myriad of technical reasons, including like it just wouldn't sound good. But that means you have to fake all of that with things like adding extra heavy reverb on and like layering other sounds underneath it, big booms, and it's getting stuff like that to sound right is such a nightmare. And sometimes it's just like I remember the sound of a taser was one that I had to look for a few seasons ago, and an actual taser sound is not good enough. It doesn't sound. It just doesn't
sound like a lot
right.
Like a taser.
Yeah,
and it doesn't, and it also doesn't sound like people expect like electricity to sound. So I had to go find like the electricity sound that is used in all of the movies, and like. But like it's not what real like sparking electricity sounds like at all.
Didn't it end up being a Tesla coil or something?
Yeah, it's technically a Jacob's ladder is the one.
Man.
So if anybody else is looking for like what is the electricity sound, what I ended up searching for was Jacob's ladder, and I found the one that I was thinking of.
That's perfect.
But it was such a pain.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I got around a lot by having the Judah. All the weapon noises be semi-futuristic weapon noises. So like I have a lot of like bree and wee and a cool little but mixed with a gun sound. So it's kind of kind of fantasy sci-fi-esque sounding anyway. And so I think that sounds a lot better than trying to make actual gunshots work.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that makes sense because if you're in a space station, you don't want to use like regular slug throwers anyway because you'd be punching holes in your station all the time.
There's really I use a lot of stuff that I find is on Soundly because it's just easy to navigate, and I really like their like military-esque sci-fi weapon sounds. They have a pretty good selection. So
it's just I'm in the middle of getting, well, no, not in the middle. I think I'm coming into the home stretch on finishing up Fable with its editing. I've
seen your spreadsheet. You're not in the middle. You're almost done.
I've got two scenes that I'm still working on, and one that I haven't started yet for sound design, but everything else is pretty much in. I'm waiting on a couple of retakes from some people, but like the writer Scott just loves scenes where people just sit around and talk for 7 minutes, and when I get to that editor, I'm like sitting there going like, I could just like put some ambience into this and then not do anything, but that feels like that's not the maximalist effort that I normally put into these things. So like literally last night I was listening to you, Jack, and talk to one of our other actors, and I've got like this microphone aimed at this chair, like, and I'm just sitting there like moving up and down a little bit to manufacture somebody sitting in a chair noises.
Yay.
And it's like
chair foley.
Yeah, basically little squeaks and just rustling and stuff, and then putting in
chair foley.
Yeah, it's like because like it does affect some, you can hear it. It does change the tone of everything. But it's like, how do I make two people sitting there talking interesting?
Yeah.
There's also the
therapist chair squeaks. And
There's also when you have 2 or 3 people in a room talking in real life, there's so many sounds. There's so much stuff going on. And I've been sort of coming up against this wall with Judah because like there are like 7 people and they're walking through a space station, and it's like, okay, so how realistic do you want it to be? Do you want every single footstep? Do you want every breath? Do you want every swish of their clothing? And you have to kind of,
and it's like, no, because that would be like so crazy for your brain to try to process.
That would be terrible. Yeah, that'd be too much. So you have to choose, like, what are the important swipes of fabric? What are the important steps that need to be heard? So, and you know, that's audio drama. So it's been fun.
And it's also visual art. Like if you're drawing a picture and you make it photorealistic and like every little like texture of every surface and every tiny detail is there, like it doesn't actually look like you've represented what you were trying to say. You've just like copied faithfully from life. So there's a lot of talk in like when you go to art school of making decisions about which details to include and which ones to omit. It's exactly the same thing.
Cool.
By the way, audience, I already apologized to my co-host, but like if you hear thumping and rattling, I have a puppy playing with a dog toy underneath my desk right now, and it's the way to keep him distracted.
Cute.
It's so
really cute.
And we get to see him, and you audience do not. I'm sorry.
Y'all don't, but we get to see him. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He's so baby.
Very cute.
He's very baby. But yeah, so if this episode is extra noisy, that's why.
Well, yeah, and you may hear my wife on a work call in the next room because she works from home and has no way to control like when those meetings are going to be. So it's
talking about
a noisy episode.
Talking about what you do and don't do, and this is the like this show is about like maximizing reward to effort. So like we're not going to put that much effort into it. It's fine. But yeah, so I did have a thing that I had wanted to talk about previously that I wanted to run past y'all because I've been thinking about it recently, which is the word I keep using in my head is Blorboification, where like, how do you turn a character into a Blorbo for yourself or for other people? And if anybody is not familiar with the terminology, this comes from the internet being what it is. The Blorbos are characters that you like are mildly obsessed with and that you're just going to keep thinking about all of the time. Like
if you've ever heard the phrase like rotating this character in my head like a rotisserie chicken, like that's what a Blorbo is. Like you can't stop thinking about them. You're just like spinning them around and looking at them from every angle in your brain.
Yeah, and like that it's the obsession that people have when they get like, oh, this character, I love this character. I want to imagine them like starting a small business, you know, like it's like where you like cannot help yourself from like looking at them in different contexts and stuff. And one of the in my head, it's a really good, useful. You're not doing anything bad, are you?
Dog crimes. Yeah. Hold on, everyone.
Technical difficulties.
But like, it's super useful as a writer to have whoever you're writing about be a Blorbo, because then it's very easy to like come up with stuff about them. And I have sometimes like almost all of my breathing space characters, like if you ask me a question about like their lives and their lore, I can just like, oh yeah, here we go, and that I will come up with something that I know I could build an entire episode off of because I am capable. Like I have a clear enough idea, and I will admit I have been struggling with the characters from It Takes a Wolf to sort of properly Blorboify them in my head. To make like I don't know what I'm doing, what I haven't done or what I'm not doing or what's missing yet for me to like, because I can't tell you certain things about these characters' personal lives. I can't imagine them starting a small business, you know? And I'm trying to figure out what part of the recipe am I missing here? And is it
okay? So I have a potential thought, which is it might just be that you're still too like Blorbo brained about your breathing space characters for this season to fully put the like mental energy into Blorboifying other characters.
Sure, yeah.
Like your brain might just be too firmly in a different setting at the moment to like.
It's possible. I definitely am like I've got the outline for a sequel to some of my Fable characters like ready to go, a whole 4 or 5 episode series about them.
Yes, spoilers, everybody.
I don't know that there is an idea that exists as much of a spoiler, but like I am like deliberately not working on it because I know that like the energy is there, but I want to let that setting lie for a while. So like I'm deliberately like stopping myself from spending too much time thinking about it, despite the fact that like that's kind of where my brain is at the moment. But I don't want to just keep working in breathing space forever. I have other things I want to do, and this is one of them. I like consciously I'm like, I want to work on this. Brain is like, no. I want to chew on these other characters instead.
You've already got Blorbos, and your brain wants to rotate them like a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
Right now.
I wonder if I was also thinking about like part of it is that I have not given these characters a chance to do anything outside of the given plot yet.
Oh, sure.
Where like
you need to write fan fiction of your thing.
A little bit, or just like figure out what is not relevant to the plot and give them those aspects as well. Allow them a little bit to be weird, I guess. I was thinking It Takes a Wolf is inspired by and takes elements from Lucky Number 11, a movie I really love.
Great
and there's
movie.
a moment
to watch that movie.
Good. It's a good movie.
I told Scott I would watch it, and I still haven't.
I started Sahara. I have to get back to it. I got something interrupted me in the way, but we're on the deal. I will watch Sahara. You will watch.
It's the deal.
Yeah. But there's a moment in that where like it's just it's a crime movie, assassins and stuff like that, and people owing money to each other and they want to kill each other. And there's a moment where like the main character and his romantic interest just spend like a couple of minutes geeking out about James Bond movies. Like,
aww,
and I'm
so
like,
cute.
It's like it has nothing to do with the plot at all, but it tells you a lot about both of them. And I'm like, I think that might be what I'm missing is just like where else do they exist yet? I'm gonna have to like, but I'm definitely interested in y'all's ideas about how to get yourself excited about these things.
Have your main character just not have any chance to get dressed and just walk around in a towel for the first couple episodes. Then it's really like Lucky Numbers. That's one of the reasons I like that movie. So
if you like Josh Hartnett, you're gonna see a lot of Josh Hartnett in that movie.
It's very weird.
Reasons.
I'm not like romantically interested in Josh Hartnett. I just really like him a lot. It's very strange. I have a couple.
He's very charismatic.
Yeah, I have a couple actors and actresses where it's like, no, I probably would not sleep with you. But like, could we like hang out? Could we like play video games together? And yeah, he's definitely one of those characters for me. But like the not having a chance to put on clothes for a very long time in that movie is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it is a good like it's a very good visual indicator of making that guy seem out of his depth, which is really good. That is a clever thing that script does. Sure.
Okay, I have another possible exercise that you could do. Do you remember on Tumblr when there always used to be those like OC Ask memes that would go around where it's like numbers 1 through 25 and it's just a random question about your character that like someone will send you a number and it'll be like, how does your character tie their shoelaces, or what does your character put in their coffee in the morning? Like that type of shit. You need to do one of those. For all of your.
You're not wrong. That's actually not a bad idea at all. To just look for some places that gets because like, man, the number of times that on Breathing Space somebody has asked some innocuous question and it has led to like 7 pages of world building and lore coming out of my head. That's exactly the same kind of deal there. You just gotta like brute force it and like outsource it if need be.
Well, yeah, and like get questions asked to you by someone who's not you, because people will think of stuff that you won't think of in terms of like little character details that they want to know, but you're like, oh, I never even would have thought of that on my own.
Or world details too. This like I have been, because of genre reasons, I have been steering away from world building so far, which is dumb because that's my favorite thing to do. So why would I not do it? I feel like I'm good at it. So like, why have I not been doing it? I need to like. You're not allowed to eat.
Scott.
He keeps just getting up.
He's doing crimes.
Sorry.
Puppy. I love it.
I'm sorry. I just hear rustling plastic from the other side of the room, and it's like, no.
Yeah, he's like, don't eat that plastic. Please don't eat that plastic.
So like finding reasons to explore world building is probably a good idea as well. Even if I'm not necessarily going to use it, having it in the back pocket's always fun. I might be able to use it. Who knows?
This is not going to help you at all. But I'm saying this in like solidarity. My first book that I put out like last year, maybe a year and a half ago. I made pretty much everybody.
Congrats, by the way. I said congrats. By the way. Big achievement.
Yeah, I did it a serial release, so like I did a chapter every week. Anyway, I sort of made Blorbos out of all of those characters, and just so everybody knows, I'm trying to be transparent here. I had to look up what the word Blorbo meant a couple weeks ago when everybody was talking about it. I was like, oh my god, I'm officially old. I have no idea what these children are talking about.
I don't know what you have
no idea.
It has nothing to do with age. It's entirely to do with what part of online culture you have.
Which internet are you on?
I have experienced it several times. Like I just didn't know what people were calling it. Oh, yeah. But anyway, so the first book, I made everybody a Blorbo, and I love them very much. And then I have the whole series like planned. I have all 4 books, like not like outlined or anything, because I don't do outlines. But I have the basic idea of what's happening in each book and like where all the important story points are. And I sat down to write the second book a couple months after I finished the first one, and it just wouldn't come because I could not get the Blorbos out of my head from the first one. And I was like, I don't care as much about these characters because I want to just get to the part with these other characters that I like so much. And so what Jack was saying earlier really rang true for me. I could not write that second book when I was still so engrossed in the first one. And I had to take a step back, and I put my Patreon on pause because I didn't want people to be paying for, me not writing. And I had to just kind of step away from it. And then I went back to it a couple like weeks ago, like really recently. And now the drive is more like, okay, I got this cool character and I got this other cool character, and they're eventually going to kiss and it's going to be great. And I'm excited about that. And I also, as like a bonus, have these other Blorbos from the other book. So again,
as a little treat.
Yeah. So nothing that I have said just now is going to help you at all. I'm just saying that I totally understand. I totally understand what Jack was talking about, where I just couldn't get into the new Blorbos without, getting out of the old Blorbos. Man, that's a sentence that's very strange. I never thought I'd say that, but
it's real though. It's very real.
I was my Blorbo for probably I don't know what year is it, 24. My Blorbo for like 10 years was the Winter Soldier. And like everything was Bucky for me. Like I had all the merch, I had all the clothes. Like I wear Captain America or Winter Soldier stuff all the time. And like I just couldn't get in.
Not to like
get into anything else.
Very gentle. Not to poke the gentlest ever fun at you, Sam, but you are not the only transmasculine person I know whom has that specific blurb.
Oh yeah, no, I am very aware of that. It's very strange. I have gone the gambit of like what every well, okay, not every, but like what like 90% of the transgender community. I did Homestuck, and then I got into Stucky. Like I think my Blorbo before Bucky was a character from Homestuck. So I mean, I'm very.
You're so valid. You walk on the shoulders of giants.
I do.
Yeah. Well, like it's interesting to me the way certain characters hit certain communities like that. Like because I as not tapped into it as y'all are, like knew the sort of like kind of got the vibe from the Winter Soldier community. I'm like, there's a lot more like trans men in this.
In there.
Yeah, like it's
what's going on in there.
Specific. Yeah, it's like that's interesting to me. I from my perspective, I have no fucking clue why. That's fine, not my deal. I'm not sure that they understand it either. But it's super fascinating to me when.
But it's real. Yeah,
it's real. Well, I mean, it's so queer coded. That whole story is so queer coded. I don't care what I don't care what anybody at Marvel Studios says. It's very, very queer coded. It's beautiful to watch. And even if you don't queer code it, it's a beautiful friendship and it's a wonderful story. And then there's also the military aspect on top of it for me. And so I don't know, there was just so many things that I could take out of it. And I'm also kind of not a health nut, but I love exercising and working out and like being fit. It fits with like the Captain America aesthetic, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
And I love cosplay, and I love I've always wanted to. I've done a lot of Marvel stuff, but I've never had like the courage to do Bucky because you have to do that metal arm, and there's like it's really hard because you either have an arm that is completely covered in metal, or you have one that moves and it looks like crap, and it's really hard to get that particular aspect of it down.
the movie crops are or movie props, not crops, are like they're actually vinyl. Like they've gotten a mirror finish on the vinyl with like a spray technique, which is fucking bonkers to me. Like
it's crazy. It's the top part of his arm and then the forearm, and they leave his elbow with like a green like that green screen, but like it's a sleeve, and then they go in and CGI the elbow. That's how hard it is to actually do a moving part that looks like metal.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
I do know a transmasculine person who has had the metal arm tattooed on their arm from like shoulder to wrist.
I thought about doing that.
Sick,
I thought about doing that, but I already have a sleeve on that arm, so I couldn't do it.
Shit.
But I have an idea for a half Winter Soldier, half Captain America shield that I'm gonna probably have on the side of my body someday.
Sick. Okay.
Sick. It's one of those things where if you could, looking at stuff like that is useful. It's fun also, just because people love characters and I love fandoms. But also, like, if you're trying to engender a particular audience, understanding what they connect to can also be possibly useful. So I'm not sure if that's useful. It's something I will be thinking about. I don't know how deliberate. I have all these high-minded ideas for this fucking project, and I probably need to just like let all of that go and let it be its own stupid thing, which is fine. I think like maybe the best goal I could have is that I want it to be the kind of project where there's one fucking raw ass quote line that people will like throw around, and then they'll be like, "Wait, that's from the Horny Werewolf audio drama?"
Right.
That's my goal. I think if I could do that, I would be really pleased.
That's a great goal.
That's a fantastic goal. I love it.
Well, we got started a little bit late, so I do need to let y'all go so that I can get back to work. Yeah. And let this puppy off my lap. Sorry, buddy.
No.
Bye, Ridge.
He's not actually a lap dog. He doesn't really like laps. He will suffer.
He's a little bigger than a standard lap size.
Yeah, it's like a lap and a half. Okay, but let's do our outro thing where we figure out what we're sort of planning for the next couple of weeks. So do y'all want to set yourself some goals?
Always.
I should do my last time's homework, which was do some brainstorming for episodes 3 and 4. But I'm also trying to help Sam like gather up all of the stuff we still need for breathing space. So I'll still be working on that also, but
What about you, Sam?
It's fine if your goal is also still do all the other shit that's on your plate.
Yeah. It's fine. It wasn't what are your goals? It's do you want to set goals?
No, I always have to have goals. So I made my goal of technically finishing Judah, but there's still a bunch of levels stuff that I gotta fix. I could compile it together and send it off to you though, Jack. So I might do that. And then I guess I have to start working on this thing, which I guess is not going to be as hard as I thought, because part of it's already done because of Judah.
Yeah. There's a whole section in the middle that's just the same stuff from Judah again, but without the mind palace.
So that's kind of nice.
Some of your work's done already.
Yeah, and I already have all of my sound effects compiled. I have opening and closing doors and guns and all that kind of stuff. So
that helps a lot.
I don't have to do that again. So I guess maybe this thing will be a lot easier. And then
I think it's going to go way faster and be way easier.
And then I have Comic-Con coming up next weekend. And I guess one of my big goals needs to be getting my kids' cosplays ready, because my little one is going to be Hermione from Harry Potter, because she's just like last week watched all the movies. So now she knows Harry Potter.
Oh, wow.
And she's going to be Hermione. And we got her a little Hermione costume, but the cloak is too long. So I have to hem that.
Oh, yeah.
And then Oz is being somebody from Fortnite, and I don't know their name, and I have to take in.
Such a parent moment. Yeah.
It's like the only video game I don't play. But I have to take in that. So I got to do cosplays. So I have to finish cosplays for next week. That's a goal. I have to finalize Judah. I have to not like get so nervous that I puke, because In Better Light is coming out, premiering next week. That's making me crazy.
That's gonna be
it's
awesome.
Making me crazy.
I'm so excited to hear it. Don't be so crazy.
No,
it's gonna be great.
And then start this thing. And I have another audiobook
and
that I have to have done by the end of the month.
Yay.
Okay.
Sam's always doing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Dude, just the most ever. The specific goals I'm gonna verbalize now. I'm going to be done with Fable by the time we talk again.
Yay!
Hell yes! It's so exciting.
Depending on how people get get me those retakes, it might be done this weekend. I'm really not that far.
Sick.
And the thing that both is exciting and frightening is that I think it's kind of the last thing I'm doing for Breathing Space.
Wow.
That
may be finale stuff.
Oh yeah. But we haven't even really been talking about that. And I'll admit that
we weren't gonna until March. It's all good. We have time.
So, but with that off my plate, I'm like, okay, maybe that'll make some mental room for me to work on this other stuff. But the scary thing is, what if it doesn't? What if it just turns out that my brain's broken? That's always fun. I will get Fable done. And then I think I'm going to take a step back from this episode 2, which I've like I said, I've been struggling with to actually get stuff done. And I'm going to I don't know if I'm going to jump ahead or if I'm going to just write something that I don't know what its plan is. I'm just going to start trying to bang some of these characters together like Barbie dolls and
just do some Tumblr memes. I really mean
that's a really good idea. I think that's a legit good idea. And I'm going to do that. But I think I'm also, I sometimes work things out by having characters talk to each other. And so I think I'm also going to like specifically give myself permission to like step back and be like, I'm going to write a thing. I'm not going to use it necessarily. It's not.
You need some free writing.
Yeah. It doesn't like, it's not a plan. It's fan fiction for my own shit, right? Like, let's just do a coffee shop AU or something like that just to get these characters a little bit. Because I need to generate some stuff that's not tied up with this main idea of what the plot is. I just need to like let these characters breathe a bit. And that will maybe hopefully get my juices flowing a bit. So that's my plan.
Totally.
I don't have to if I get nothing done in the actual episode between now and then, that's fine. I'm just going to.
You'll have learned a lot.
I'm hoping to just figure some stuff out. Okay. Well, it's lovely talking with you guys as always, and we will catch y'all and the audience again in like 2 weeks. So
bye everybody.
Right. Thank you for joining us for Behind the Locked Doors, a library of cursed knowledge production podcast thing. I don't know. If you are interested in any of these projects, you can head over to library.horse, which will eventually redirect to a webpage once I make it, If you want to support the podcast, we do have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/cursed knowledge. See y'all next week. No, wait. See y'all in 2 weeks.